he's going to be young all the way through that contract, and it's all exciting. And knowing him, being around him every day, I'm very happy for him too.
You know, you've spoken so much about him in some of his tough times, and you had so much confidence going behind him. How did you see that develop from where he was then to where he got to last year?
Boy, you know, he was a player that you could see as a coach, you back these type of people. Extremely talented, too hard on himself, you know, living and dying, but dying more in the moment because he just cares. You can care too much, and what I mean by too much, it puts extra pressure on you, and that's Rasmus. That's a lot of competitive guys, and he's a very competitive guy. So, you know, for me, just thought, you know, the more support we could provide him, the more skill and talent we would see rise, and you know, he certainly hasn't let us down. That's for sure. So for me, just having the opportunity to work with a guy of that caliber, I've been lucky to work with lots of really talented guys that are spread out through the league, that are on contracts that are pretty darn good contracts, and you know, when you see a guy with the talent he has and the passion he has, and you can be part of helping that, it's fun.
When you first took over the team, it seemed like you saw right away in him there were things you could help him with as a coach, you know, whether it's strategies or whatever within the system you want to put on that will help better his game. You could almost see that right away.
What was easy for me to see, Paul, was when I did take over the team, was that if we're going to be successful, we have to get Rasmus going. He's was one of our, if not the most talented guy when that transition happened, and you know, I was looking at any way possible to all possibilities of making us a better hockey team, and it was pretty clear to me, you know, with some hindsight of working with lots of young guys, that this is a guy that is going to be has immense potential and the attributes of compete, hockey sense, love of the game and teammates that will give us rapid return upon some support and, you know, maybe direction, a little bit of guidance, but not a lot. I mean, he did it, so I don't want to sit here and sound like I did something great for him. He's the talent, and it was obvious that you know, some situations he was in his own head, and we just needed to free it up. And once we did, I thought he showed how much he could help us immediately, and I think everyone here saw that too.
Don, as the head coach of this team, what is your reaction to have a GM who talks about patience but actually follows through with it, and to allow a day like this to happen, but not only allow to be in a position to be able to pay a player like Rasmus when it's time, but to also still be in a good spot long term, to where you're not in a bad spot with salary cap, and there's a lot of flexibility with what the building around this group that you have.
Yeah, Kevin has done an amazing job, Kevin Adams, and before that, it would be Terry and Kim Pagula, and you know, Kevin can't do what he does without that type of support, and guidance as well, and I can't do what I do without the support of Kevin and ownership as well. So we're in a really good situation. I've worked for 6 different NHL teams, I think it is now, in different capacities, and I can tell you that that might be very simply said, but that is, you cannot do what we've done in the last couple of years, and a big part of it is being patient. You can be patient, but you also have to be persistent. And Kevin, I think, has been very persistent in the type of people we want here. There's lots of talented hockey players around the world, but we want to get the right people. And Kevin, I think, and our entire staff have been very persistent. Although we've been patient, you got to be persistent, and we have. And you know, I think this is one. You know, to have this player in Rasmus clearly state, I want to be here long term. I mean, the market's the market. He's in the market, so you can do that anywhere. but he says, I want to be right here, and that's pretty nice.
As far as the roster goes, your Zach has a spot, just, I mean, when you look at the whole package of training camp, why did he earn a spot? I know it's kind of broad.
Well, it's pretty simple now, and I've said it, so, and I don't mean to cut you off, Bill, by any means, sorry. We are very focused on winning, and we feel that, you know, what he's shown us, let's see, we think at this point, he's been very impactful. He obviously keeps up, and no problem keeping up with what's going on. And he's made lines, he's added 2 lines. So whatever line we've put him on, that line's been good. And, you know, he's been contributing. So, you know, unlike, you know, a year ago, or we knew, and 2 years ago, we knew we had to develop. I mean, yeah, you want to win. Of course you want to win. But, you know, realistically, we need to get better. And our dominant focus was on getting better. You know, now as our focus shifts to, okay, we've gotten to the point where now we have to dial in on winning. And you know, back to what I said about, now we have to be even more patient and persistent when we move into this phase, because it's a whole different world for our guys and our team. But I do think Zach, at this point, he's shown that we can keep taking looks at him. He's in our organization, and he's done well, and we'll continue to take looks at him. But he's helping us. You know, he's helping us with bottom line right now, and that's the key.
Don, does the evaluation process with him change now that it's going to be the regular season? The games are going to be tougher. It's going to be a lot more for him.
Well, definitely the game itself changes. It's totally different than preseason, and that with a player, you know, like Zach, you're curious. He's done so well in camp. You know, he's also as young as he is. We do feel, you know, as we bring players in the organization now, we're surrounding him with more stability. We didn't have any stability 2 years ago, and we really worked a lot of kinks out to become more stable through last year. But, you know, we were unstable at times last season. So, you know, with greater stability, you can take on a little bit more here and there. So, you know, what that means in this situation for Zach is something we'll monitor. But, you know, he has done extremely well to this point, and we feel, you know, I feel that our players, our returning players, have supported that extremely well. He's probably got better support this year than JJ and Jack Quinn had last year, for example. It just does. Everybody's a year more experienced, a year better, a year more confident. So that's an offset. So I don't want to misrepresent the whole picture. The whole picture is that we're in a situation that Zach has played extremely well. We've also have a team that seems to be supporting him well right now, and we'll just keep monitoring and see how that goes.
Did he take you by surprise at all coming into camp, like, you know, as
Yeah.
an 18-year-old kid to do what he did?
He did. Very big surprise. Very big, pleasant surprise. Obviously, when you're picked in the first round, you sit in scouting meetings, you listen to him. I could flip on a little video and watch of him. You see how good he is, but it's against a lot of players that aren't going to play in the NHL. So you're trying to figure in your mind, okay, how is he going to pull that off when he gets around, you know, elite NHL talent? And he's still doing a lot of the things he did in junior, at least through the preseason, and even in practice, which is a good barometer too against top defensemen. You know, sometimes we match that line against some situations in practice to watch for that stuff. But yes, it's been a very pleasant surprise. You keep an open mind, but he has exceeded any thought you could have had coming in. You don't want to get too much of a thought on a guy before he comes in. You want to let him play. So he's been very impressive.
Thank you, Don.
Yep.
Thank you, Don.
I knew it was gonna happen, and we had a great chat throughout the whole summer. It turned out really good. I'm super happy. But during training camp, it wasn't the most fun, but I'm super happy it got done, and I couldn't be happier.
What was your conversation with Kevin like Saturday night when the deal was official at that point?
After or during the day, or
Well, he said at night when it was final, when it was done.
Yeah,
you guys
yeah,
had
yeah.
a conversation.
I mean, just a relief, pretty much, and I was so happy. I don't barely remember what I said. It was like a blackout moment for me, I would say. I was just thankful. I'm super excited to be here, and all that, I guess.
Why do you like, we see around you, we know why you like it, but in your own words, why do you like it here so much? Why does this become your team, your home, and so on?
Well, first of all, I grew up here as a man. I came here as an 18-year-old, didn't know much about anything. Learned the language, learned the culture, and from the beginning, I loved the city. So I've always wanted to be here for a long time, and now it's gonna happen. So this is the city I love. Like I said, you grew up in it, and you have a special relationship to it. And every time my family comes to Buffalo, they absolutely love it. My brother pretty much want to live here, but he can't. It has a special place in my heart for sure.
When it comes to looking at that long-term future, I know this might be a little nitty-gritty compared to how much you may have been involved in the process. Did you want a no-move clause? Was that something you had advocated for, or no?
I don't want to be anywhere else than Buffalo. That's all I can say. And then my agents did all the work, so I wasn't really involved in that. But I just told them this is the place I want to be, and I want to have the longest contract as possible.
Is this just a big relief for you? I know you were very easygoing about all this when we talked about it starting camp, but it's just a huge weight off the shoulders.
For sure. I mean, you try to not think about it, but all you do is think about it pretty much when it's going on. So it's a huge relief for sure. Now it's just focus to on the right stuff, play hockey. It's the season opener is coming up soon. So yeah, I don't have to think about that anymore. I'm happy about that.
You've already been playing, making a lot of money. You're going to make a lot more money. But how did that impact you when you signed the last deal? Was it just it was over there and hockey was here? Or did you change a lot in your mind?
No, not really. I was able to give back more to my family. That was my biggest thing. But no, I bought a house in Buffalo, so that's my biggest change, I would say. But as a person, no.
When you look at this team now, they've identified a bunch of you guys for long-term big money deals. That's the core of the team. They're going to go forward to try to win with. What does it mean to all you guys that they've identified all of you together, and you know you're going to be here for multiple years with a bunch of those guys?
Yeah, I couldn't be happier. I share a lot of years with all the guys you were talking about. Like, they're super talented guys, but the people, like the guys, the persons, they're such a good people, and I love spending time with them, and I love to go to war with them too. Yeah, so Kevin has done such a great job to secured all the really good people.
You've become one of the leaders of this team. Thinking back to when you showed up here as an 18-year-old kid and your first time in North America, living in North America, where did you develop into a leader, do you think, or who helped maybe get you to the point where you're at right now?
I would say Donnie, obviously, the coaches, and everyone. But I also think the group we have right now, the younger group, I got more comfortable being around same age. That helped me a lot. So but it's not hard to be yourself in this locker room. I mean, every single one in there it's unbelievable persons for sure.
You're really hard on yourself, Rasmus. You always have been. You wanted to be the best from the moment you got here as an 18-year-old. There's been challenging times for the organization, of course, for yourself as you worked your way to become one of the best defenders in the league. So thinking back, I mean, what advice would you give 18-year-old Rasmus Dahlin after everything that you've seen the last few years and having worked as hard as you have to get to this point and reach this latest milestone?
It's tough to be able to take steps is to take a step back to face challenges. I had rough for 1 or 2 rough years there, but I've learned a lot, and it made me a better person. It made me more of a competitor, never give up mentality. So I'm actually very, very happy about those years, and I'm sure I will take a step back in the future too to be able to take a step forward. So it goes up and down. Just keep grinding every day, because eventually we'll turn up good.
When you got drafted 5 years ago, did you look or envision a moment like this, signing the largest deal in team history, just the types of ceilings you could be shattering?
That was always my my dream and goal. I always want the best out of everything. So yeah, it was for sure a dream.
Last season, if they had taken the Norris Trophy vote in January or so, you probably win. The second half of the year, obviously, we know you were a little banged up and the team had some tough moments. What would it mean to you to be at that level for a whole year and to get that kind of recognition that you're close to that level now? Makar, Fox, those guys. What's it going to mean to you to be really up there and get that kind of notoriety?
That's what I'm working hard for every day. That's where I want to be. I am a competitor. I want to be the best one, and I want to win. So it will mean everything, and I'm never going to give up. That's for sure.
How much better do you think you can be? I mean, you're already an all-star twice. I mean, how much better do you think you can be?
Way better, I feel like. I feel like I can take steps every day. What I was just talking about, to stay consistent the whole season. I got to tweak a little stuff in my game. Just the overall game, every single minute, every single shift, got to be on the top to be able to compete with the best. So takes a lot, but I'm ready for it.
Who was the first guy you heard from? First person you heard from today? The news broke.
My brother. He's my biggest fan.
How old is he now?
He's 25. He's 2 years older.
25.
Yeah.
Buffalo is your hometown now. How excited are you to play in front of the fans on Thursday?
Can't wait. I've been waiting all summer. I hope they're gonna be loud. I know they're gonna be loud, so I can't wait.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.